Studs Terkel encouraged our next guest to return to his native Iraq to make a film about his family. The result, a feature-length documentary which he made with his wife, Christy.
It's fun to hear a bomb outside your window, then watch it on the news. Yes? So much fun.
You know what I think is fun, actually?
What?
I think it's funny, actually. Funny to hear your cousin when you ask him, what was that? He goes, it was a bomb. A nice bomb.
A nice bomb.
He always says that.
What was that?
A nice bomb.
Cousin Tarif. It was a nice bomb.
Nice Bombs, My Journey Back to Iraq has won the Tribeca All Access Creative Promise Award for a documentary feature. And the local filmmaker who made the documentary joins us now, Usama Alshaibi. Welcome to Chicago Tonight. First of all, why did you want to make this movie?
Well, I had an opportunity. My family has been in exile for 24 years, and Saddam was out of office, and we had this chance to go back. My father called me. He said, would you like to go to Baghdad? And I said, okay. Yeah.
But you had some trepidation. In this clip, you and your wife are at the airport, and you're second-guessing yourself.
I keep thinking about death, and my death, and Christy's death, and my father's death, and all of us dying in one giant explosion. I don't know, it's a big mistake. But it's not. I'm just tired and freaking out.
Okay, so you hook up with your dad, who's living in Jordan,
right?
And you cross the desert. You go into Iraq
right.
in time for it to be daybreak. What was that experience like for you to go back to Iraq?
You know, for so long there's this part of me that was this part of my past that was invisible, and I missed it. I missed where I was from. I was born in Baghdad, and I had family there. I had my cousin there that I used to play with when I was a kid, and I just had this pull to return, and not just return as just by myself. I really wanted to, you know, I'm a filmmaker. I wanted to take my camera and document from my point of view, from my family's point of view, to tell my story. And after the United States invaded Iraq, we had this chance. Even though Baghdad was one of the most dangerous cities in the world to go to, I thought, let's do this now and see what happens.
You know, you talk about you're going with your father. Throughout the documentary, you weave in stories of your family, and it's encountering Iraq almost through the eyes of your family. And here, your father asks a boy about a bomb that fell next door.
What happened?
The rocket came on the floor, on the top of the building.
كانت بتقصف قناية نروح بيها نروح.
When the B-52, when they attack, we know that we are going to die, but we don't know how did this happen, that we are still alive. Thanks God for that. خايف؟
لا. متعودين احنا
العراقيين. We are Iraqi, we are used
عادي.
to that. Normal. Normal.
You know, he's laughing there, and he's saying, this is normal, this is normal. You make the point that there is this sort of acceptance, and this was 2004. There was an acceptance of what was going on around them. Did that surprise you?
No, not at all, because Iraqis have been living with war for a very long time. You had the 7-year Iran and Iraq war, and I was there as a kid, and that was a horrible war. You had the first Gulf War, where Iraq was pounded heavily by the United States, and sanctions after that. It's a militarized country, and they have, unfortunately, grown accustomed to this type of lifestyle, and it's reflected in the title. And it's also, you know, this documentary also shows Iraqis' resilience and how they deal with this trauma and this pain on a day-to-day. You have a country that's in the middle of war, and you can't just hide in your house the whole time. You do have to go to school and go to work and try to make the best life that you can under the circumstances.
You know, I'm wondering, you have lived in the Chicago area for years. It had been 24 years since you'd returned to Iraq. You're now a U.S. citizen. How were you treated? You were there with your wife, who is from the United States. You describe her as,
right.
as a white American blonde.
Right.
How were the two of you treated?
We were treated great. We were treated warmly. I was worried at first that she was going to have problems because I had heard, you know, the insurgency was starting to rise. Also, keep in mind that that 14-hour road trip from Amman to Baghdad was extremely dangerous. There were kidnappings and all sorts of horrible things would happen. But she was absolutely treated warmly, and we were, you know, every Iraqi we met was friendly and invited us into their home to have tea and food. So on that side, it was great. But on the other side, you're in war, and, you know, there was a sense of danger all around. And that took us some getting used to, and I don't know if I could ever get used to it. And that was amazing to see, to be in that environment. Yeah.
Let me ask you sort of a flip side, and it's not anything you cover in your documentary, but in this country, with your name, Usama,
mm-hmm.
and being from Iraq, do you ever get any flack for that?
I do, but I also, you know, for so long people couldn't pronounce my name, and now everybody knows my name. So I joke about it, and you know, we live in violent times, but it is my name, and, you know, in a way, making this documentary and being who I am and speaking out as an Iraqi and as an American, I'm hoping to eradicate some of these fears and xenophobic ideas that maybe people have about Iraqis or Arabs in general. And I really, you know, wanted to expose the warmth and humor of my family and myself. And I think that anyone could relate to that. You know, I really wanted to show that Iraqis are just like Americans, you know, and Americans in many ways are like Iraqis. Just showing that human side. But yeah, you know, I mean, I've had some issues with my name. I deal with it. It's not a big deal. You know, I've lived in this country for a while, and when the first Gulf War started, I also had some issues. But, you know, every ethnic group, every religion has gone through this, and we all deal with it in our way.
Well, Usama Alshaibi, thank you for being here tonight. Congratulations on the film, the reception it's getting. And again, the film is called Nice Bombs. It opens this Thursday night at the Chicago Underground Film Festival.